Alright YouTube, so here's my Packout setup. It's not fully completed yet, but I had a couple of comments that people wanted to get ideas of how to set it up, what works for different people, so I'll try to do a quick video about it. So here we have the parts organizer, low profile. I keep screws and anchors here. Pretty much each anchor is next to its proper screw. I got some masonry bits here. These are the Bosch. They're ridiculously good and fast. Even if you're not even using an impact driver, you'll still go through the material. Commercial electric, I've used these for work and they work out really well. I'm used to them, so that's the reason I have these wire strippers. Klein 11-in-1. I chose the 11-in-1 over pretty much any other type because it has the quarter, 5/16 and 3/8 nut drivers, which when we're working on water heaters, sometimes you got to remove small bolts, and they are quarter, 5/16 or 3/8, very common. So that little screwdriver, very, very helpful. I have a couple of precision screwdrivers here. This one's Torx. This is a typical flat end Phillips. There's 9 bits in each one of these. So okay, that's that. Let's move on to the next one. So this one is outfitted with Kaizen foam. I did it myself. Not a bad job, but anyways. So hammer drill, which is a drill driver as well, and the impact driver. These are Gen 3s. So this kit was part of the what VCG calls Tico Mi Elmo. Came with the hacksaw and the bottom packet as well, which is really nice. Yes, I have a 6.0, and the reason I waited to do the Kaizen foam was because I knew this one was going to be smaller, and I can actually fit it this way in order to seat it down. As you can see, I'm not putting my tools the way everybody else typically does it, putting it off to the side. It just takes up more space that way. So by sometimes standing things up, you're actually able to save a bit of space. So I got a couple of items here. All right, so this little kit, $20 kit, a great buy. You have 1/2 and 9/16 deep impact sockets, and you have quarter, 5/16 and 3/8 nut drivers. I do solar thermal, so the 1/2 and the 9/16 are very useful for the end clips that go on the panels and for the rafters, not the rafters, but the lag bolts that are going into the rafters to hold the racking together. And these quarter and 5/16 are very useful for the self tappers that go as a reinforcement into the racks. The 3/8 is also used a lot in the plumbing for attaching for the clamps that go onto the H strut to attach copper pipe. So very good kit and cheap, 21 bucks. Of course, you have typical drill bits here. These ran me, I think, like 20 bucks. I think a 13-piece set. I opted for this set rather than the bigger set because the bigger set has 6 extra bits that are smaller than 1/8 of an inch. I don't need them. So that's the reason why I don't have that. Utility knife. This is the Husky one. It's actually pretty nice. It's got different different levels of getting stuck on it. You don't have to open it all the way. You can leave it here or all the way. But it also has built-in storage for less than 10 bucks, which was pretty nice. Of course, a cheap level, pretty self-explanatory. Marking equipment, whether it's wood or metal, so that's very useful. Small tape measure, nothing too big, nothing out of the ordinary. Let's get this one out of here. And if you notice, I actually marked them with what it is on each one: drills, sockets, and then plumbing. So next one. So this is my my socket stuff. Pretty much anything I need for my personal car that I need to use is here. I have two sets of sockets, deep sockets and shallow sockets, and as you can see, I didn't put them in the foam that way. I stood them up, and I was able to save a bit of space by having them that way. 3/8 drive ratchet, half-inch breaker bar. This one's actually really cool. The Mega Pro, they have different types on this one, but what's really cool is it's got all your bits right here. Now the nice thing is, because of this little button, once you insert the bit, it will not come off until you press that button, which is actually really cool. And this particular one comes with an extension. So you can put the extension on here for more reach. And again, this part will lock onto this, and the bit will lock onto this one because it also has the button that you have to press in order to release the bit. That way you don't lose any parts, which is pretty nice. So let's pop this little one here. Again, also set up with Kaizen foam. It's pretty simple to do. So I have a couple more sockets here. Nothing out of the ordinary. A couple of angles. Quite a few impact adapters here to sockets, and of course a couple of files in case you have to make a hole and actually clean up the hole a little bit so you don't get a bunch of shavings and ruin your threads. Pretty self-explanatory there. And all of this, of course, is strictly the stuff I use from my car. I don't need pretty much anything else. So a couple of regular wrenches here, slip joint pliers, ratchet wrenches, pretty self-explanatory. Sockets here, and this is actually a really cool piece, the magnet pickup tool. This is one of those things that if you have it, you're gonna save a lot of hassle and a lot of headache, just because it helps you find things that you dropped. It helps you pick them back up. Just get this on there. There we go. All right, and again, I have another one of these here. Same as the one where the jewels are. 1/2 and 9/16, 1/4 5/16 and 3/8 with the socket adapter. The reason I kept this one here is, for pretty obvious reasons. 1/4 5/16 and 3/8 are perfect for those hose clamps that go over radiators that are in your car. Any type of plastic hose will have a clamp on it, and 1/4 5/16 and 3/8 are very common sizes to remove those hoses. Hence, I keep this here. I didn't feel like cutting up the Kaizen foam. I just lie it down and it fits. All right, let's go to the next one. So this one is a couple of plumbing items. It's not finished yet, but you can kind of get an idea of what I have. So I got map gas here. I got some slip joint pliers. These are not channel locks. These are these are crescents, but this is not called a crescent wrench. It's called a groove joint plier because it's got grooves. Reason I chose this over the typical channel locks is because the channel locks are straight here. This has a curved jaw, which works out really well. It also has these little things here, which you can help remove aerators from kitchen sinks and bathroom faucets. And then it's also got these little ends right here to remove a couple of other plumbing items too. So I got 2 of those. It's wrapped up just because I'm trying to keep everything kind of clean. But I do have mesh tape, sanding paper, emery cloth. Now this set, if you were able to find it, was ridiculously cheap. This was less than $8. This has 1/4, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, 1/2, and 9/16 sockets and nut drivers. This was very, very cheap, very, very good price. I believe they're going for $24, $25 now. I checked at Lowe's. So for a couple of, I think for a week or so, these were available for less than $8. So I definitely got one of these. And like I said, once again, 1/4, 5/16, and 3/8, very useful for plumbing clamps. And 3/8 and 7/16. The 7/16s, you'll once in a while see it, not too much. I got here a temperature gun. So you can see it does work. Reamer, pipe cleaner. I have another level. This one is the Savage level. It's LED. Reason I chose to leave this level here rather than on one of my other boxes is because when you're doing plumbing, sometimes you're in a basement. It's kind of hard to see. You don't have much lighting, or you're in a parking garage. Very rare are you, doing plumbing where there's a lot of light. It just doesn't happen. You're underneath the house, you're inside an attic, you're in a basement, or you're in a parking structure. And it's kind of dark, so you want to make sure you have your lines plumb. That's where that comes in. So down here, pretty simple. I have flux and I have the actual solder. I don't have the torch on here. That's actually in my car. But this I'm going to put Kaizen foam as well. I'm debating how to do it because I wanted to put the cheater bar, which means the cheater bar, for those of you who don't know, is a Milwaukee pipe wrench that is adjustable. It goes from 10 inch to 18 inch to like a 24 inch. It's got two different handles on it, but they won't fit. When you saw the sockets, the socket box, you saw that I had diagonally put a breaker bar, and that's 18 inches. So if I do that, then I'm losing a lot of space. So I'm still debating. I might just get a regular 14 and a regular 18 and end up putting it here. But so that's the sockets. I mean the plumbing. And let's go to the mid-size one. So a lot of stuff kind of mixed up. This was going to be my woodworking stuff. You can see that I have a charger there, but I have the charger. I have a Milwaukee M18 Field Hacksaw battery. Got several blades. I got these when they were on special, like 40 bucks or so. I have a jigsaw there. That's not cordless. It's just a cheap jigsaw. I do have the Bosch Daredevil spade bits for making holes. It's very, very useful. And this here, I don't want to bring it out because I'm only using one hand, but this is the original Craftsman Next Tech, the oscillating tool, which is actually kind of cool. I had it for several years and it still works fine, so very happy with that. Of course, I keep a small pouch here with my Stanley tape measure. Another level, of course. With wood, you don't have to really worry about this one getting pretty much messed up. The Empire level, it's really nice. I don't really need this though, but I like the fact that it's pretty solid, and if I drop it, well, for the most part, there's going to be wood around, so I'm not going to get any nicks or kinks. That's why I don't use this in plumbing or outside when I'm doing, the roof, doing the solder part. Because if I drop it, it's going to get kinked, and then I'm going to get pissed off that it's no longer sitting level. Really nice, nice level though. Of course, you need to mark, so I have the regular Inksaw and Home Depot. Here is the sharpener. It's kind of hard to get out. It's in there. There's a sharpener for that carpenter pencil. Let's try to get this back in there. All right, and let's go to the last one. This one is very messy. So you're gonna find this a little interesting. So Milwaukee claims that a circular saw will fit on that large Packout box without the Packout box that doesn't have the wheels. I have an old hacksaw. This is a Craftsman 12 amp 7 1/4 circular saw with a laser. This little button is for the laser. It's bulky. Otherwise I would have fit it into that box with the rest of the woodworking tools. So here I just keep excess items. I have some screws there. I got tin snips for when I have to cut the MC armor cable. I have the wooden clamps there. I have some tie downs. I got a couple of extra bits over here, some cheap cobalts. I have some DeWalt bits down there. Some wood clamps there, the Irwins speed grips. Those are pretty nice. Fish tape. That's very useful as well. So that's pretty much all I have so far. Like I said, I still have to organize it, but it's just to give you a quick idea of how you can set your things up. Hopefully it helped, especially when it comes to the Kaizen foam. Some people have a typical tendency to just grab their tools and lay them all out like this, which, I mean, they're going to look nice, but If you're going for pretty, then yeah, just lie them all like this, boom, 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 one next to each other. But if you put them up like this, you can fit more in a smaller amount of space, take up less space. So yeah, hopefully you guys learned a little something from there. And oh, I want to show you something. I do have the 9.0 battery because I have the string trimmer right there. I think it's actually pretty nice. It's actually really, really good, and you don't have to really do any maintenance on it. You don't have to worry about keeping gas inside of your house or mixing it with 2-cycle or 4-cycle oil. Works out really well. So if you guys have any comments or questions, please let me know. Joshua out.